I'm building. It's not built yet, but I'm building a bar. That behind me is a bar in my house. I'm building let me get a wider shot. Hold on. You can't, it doesn't look like anything. They're in the middle of building it, but that's the fridge. That's the freezer. I got a marble guy coming in right now. He's going to put a marble top on.
That's great.
I ordered like a gold vein mirror, like a Frank Sinatra kind of old school mirror. I'm getting some brackets up here. Here's the sink. So I'm getting like a homemade bar in my house.
Do you play music at all now?
A little bit. I have a program called Ableton. I'll fuck around on, or I'll go downstairs. I have a music room in my house, so I go downstairs and I play my. Here, I'll show you. I never give a tour, but I go downstairs. I don't know if you can see.
I love your house.
Thanks, man.
Look at this. Oh, legit.
Yeah. So I just bought this probably like a year ago. I have my old bass I sold to make money, but this is the music room. It's kind of a mess because I'm working on the bar upstairs. I got this is all my alcohol.
Oh my God, Eric.
That's going to move. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. That's going to move upstairs.
Oh my God. Yeah. I don't even think my booze collection could rival that.
I'm going ape shit in quarantine, dude. I got every fucking like Eye of Newt. You know what I mean? Witch's brew. But yeah.
Do you live by yourself?
I live by myself. I'm dating a young lady, but we haven't. She hasn't moved in yet. But live by myself. Should I have kids?
Should you have kids?
Yes.
Oh, how old are you?
37.
Oh, I would always say yes. The experience of having kids is so unifying with society. Like you really form empathy that you can't form when you're single. And I'll tell you why. My friend Ari Shafir, who you know, is a broken motherfucker, right? And it's because he's a bachelor. He's never had to compromise with anyone. So when Ari drugged me, I don't know if you know this, but Ari drugged me at my house in front of my kids like a year ago.
What?
He slipped me Molly in a drink. And I'm like 46 at the time. I'm like, Ari, did you check with my cardiologist before you did this? And he was like, I did not. And I was like, does this counteract with any of my medications? He's like, hey, maybe this was a misstep. But in Ari's brain.
What's your medication? Are you on SSRIs? You're on antidepressants?
No. I'm on blood pressure medication.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. And so, but what's interesting is Ari, and I love Ari. I will always love Ari. And my wife hates his guts. He can never find compromise. He's like, I was like really upset. And he was like, it was cool. It was funny. It was a joke. It was a joke. And you're like, so I think sometimes if you stay a bachelor too long, you have a hard time compromising. What you find is like, what I know how to do is make myself happy. And that was about to happen to me. Then you have kids and you find an empathy for the average person where you connect on this weird thing of having a kid. You go through this societal thing where everyone had it happen to them too. Black, white, Puerto Rican, Mexican, Lithuanian, you name it. I remember the first time I ever realized it. I was at the LA Zoo with George, my oldest, and she was a baby, and we were looking at the walrus. And there was a Mexican dude with a son, George's age, and we both were trying to get the best view of the walrus for our kid, which happened to be this one little spot. And me and this guy shared the spot to show our kids. Like I did a little bit and then we switched out and we didn't communicate about it. We just did it. And he had like tattoos on his face and fuck the world tattooed across his neck. Yeah. We didn't have a lot in common, but we didn't even speak. We shared this one little spot. And I remember, of course I was young, so I wrote a dumb joke about it. I was like, he looked at me like all gang bangered up, Dodgers hat, white shirt, pressed Dickies. And he was like, fucking walrus, huh? And I was like, and then I was like, hey man, that's really cool. We can hang out like this. And he's like, I know. And he's like, hey, I'll see you in the parking lot. I'll stab you outside. I was the old joke. But it's cool that you find that. Now, listen, some people I don't think should ever have fucking kids. And I agree with that. But I would always recommend it. If it's something you're interested in, it's awesome. And then,
I have a couple things I'm reluctant about. One,
tell me.
My father's a workaholic, and he basically like ignored me and my sister for the first 20 years of our lives because he was just at work, working.
We talked about your father. Your father's a therapist, right?
Yeah, psychiatrist. So
psychiatrist.
He's a drug dealer. So Adderall, speed, whatever you need, Xanax, benzos. So I love my father, but not to talk shit about it, but didn't come to my high school graduation, didn't go to my sister's college graduation, high school graduation, just wasn't there. You know what I mean? And I am a workaholic. He wore off on me, and I would never want to do to my kid. I'm obsessed with work, and I would never want to do to my kids what my father did to me, which is prioritize my work over them and be all consumed with work and end up ignoring them, not even intentionally, but unintentionally. I would feel terrible. There's that, and there is the world is falling apart.
Yeah.
The world's falling apart. So I'm like, should I bring kids in? But the other side of it is it's fulfilling. I think I want to know. I never feel like my career's on solid footing. I feel like it was so hard. It was like at least a decade of just total poverty in comedy. That like even now that I've had a show for 5 seasons and I have like somewhat of a career, I still feel like at any point, like it's too good to be true. It's going to get taken away from me. So because of that, I'm like, I can't have kids because then I won't be able to afford them. What if something happens? Da, 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 da. And it's a little bit of a paranoia, but kids are expensive. That's the other thing. So I go through it in my head a lot, but then I'm like, do I want to be old and alone and not have that experience, or maybe I can adopt kids, or I don't know.